Morning boys, welcome to session 3. Ang ating lesson ngayong araw ay geometric sequences. Dapat naaral nyo na ang asynchronous materials that include the derivation of the formula for finding the nth term of a geometric sequence. Now remember, basic definitions, pag sinabi ng geometric sequence, the difference between a geometric and an arithmetic sequence is that the succeeding terms of a geometric sequence is obtained by multiplying a constant number. Unlike for arithmetic sequences wherein it's a constant number that is being added. Sa geometric sequence naman, you multiply a certain constant called the common ratio. Okay, so dapat naaral nyo yan dun sa material. So, this synchronous session, kung hindi mo naaral yung video, tambak ka na naman. Basahin mo muna yon yung previous materials. Kasi for this particular session, this video will be all about demonstrating how to solve problems related to geometric sequences. Okay. Now, first example here, we're given geometric sequences A and B. The task is to identify the common ratio. Remember, ang common ratio is that constant number that we multiply to terms to get the next term. Yeah, so to determine the common ratio, generally, we simply apply R. Remember, we get the next term by multiplying the common ratio. So the common ratio could be obtained by dividing a certain term, say a sub n, by the previous term, a sub n minus 1. So we take two consecutive terms and then we divide the latter term by the former. Let's start with the easier pair here. So R for the first one is a negative 32 over negative 8. That's a 4. Very simple. So the common ratio for the first one is 4. And for the second one, again, you can pick any pair here. Ito, try natin to. Itong pair na to. So R is equal to negative 1 over 32 divided by, that's 1 over 16. Basic operations on fractions. I take the reciprocal of my divisor. That's supposed to be 32 in front, 32. And then I multiply that by 16. Tanggal natin dyan, matitira 2. So it's negative 1 half for the second one. Pretty simple. Right. Next. Again, remember, you can consult anytime. I am in the call while you're watching this. Number 2, find the 7th term of the geometric sequence for 20, 100, etc. Alam natin yung formula na derive ito dun sa PowerPoint. So that gives us a sub n, the nth term of a geometric sequence, is given by the first term, a sub 1, multiplied by r, the common ratio, raised to the n minus 1th power. Yan yung formula natin. In this case, what do I know? I know that a sub 1, the first term, is 4. I can easily determine r by dividing 20 by 4. That's 5. Now, what I'm looking for is a sub 7, the 7th term. Okay? So, let's plug in our equation the information that we know. Alam natin ulit si a sub 1. So I'm looking for a sub 7. I know that a sub 1 is 4. I know that r is 5. And n minus 1. We know that n is 7, so that's 7 minus 1. Okay, so that's a sub 7 equals 4 times, this is 5 raised to the 6th power. Okay, medyo madali pa naman itong i-multiply dapat. 5 to the 6th. Remember, list tayo dito ng konti. Gamit tayo ng mental math. 5 to the 6th is the same as 5 cubed squared. Tama, di ba? Recall laws of exponents, ha? And so, 5 cubed, yan, alam ko yan, eh. That is, tawag dito, 125. So, I square 125. Yeah. So, 125, that should end, o tinuro ko yung strategy, di ba? When you're squaring a number ending in 5, the answer is surely to end in 25. And then, I multiply 12. This is just some mental math. I told you about this already. 12 times 13, gawin natin. 12 and 13 will give me what? That is 1 and then 6, and then 5. So 15,625 yung 125 squared. So I go back to my solutions. I multiply 4 by 15,625. No? Ito kaya pa yung mental math to. 4 15,000s. That's 60,000. Plus apat na 600, that's 2,400, plus apat na 25, 100. Diba? Ano kayo yan, magsanay kayo na mental math. That should give me 60,000, 62,000 na pag in-add ko to, and then 500. Yeah. So this right here is the 7th term of your geometric sequence. Okay? Again, pause kung kinakailangan, balikan yung solution. Next. If the first term of a geometric sequence, parang di ako nabubulol, I'll just call it GS, geometric sequence, is negative 2 and its common ratio is 2, then which term is negative 64? So we know it's a GS, no? The first term I know is negative 2. So i-label na natin kagad yan. First term, a sub 1 is negative 2. Ano pa alam natin dito? I know that R is 2. I know that a sub n, the nth term, is negative 64. But the question is, what is n? No? So, pause. Sige, try nyo muna. Pause the video. Play ulit kapag may solution ka na. Okay, may solution ka na dapat pag pinlay mo na, no? So, let's plug in what we know in our equation. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. Ang a sub n ko, negative 64. A sub 1 ko ay negative 2 multiplied by common ratio ko ay 2. Again, ito problema natin, hindi ko alam ang n. So I'm left with an n minus 1 for an exponent. Okay? So what can we do here? Let's manipulate ito negative 2. That's a multiplier. So I can divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2. I'm left with 32 on the left and a 2 raised to the n minus 1th power on the right. Paano mag-solve ng ganito? Sige, pause ulit. Try nyo muna explore paano i-solve yan. Okay, pag pinlay mo na, may sagot ka na dapat. What I can do here, in another dimension where you learn more math, pwede dito magamit yung idea ng logarithms. Okay, that's for a future lesson perhaps, especially sa mga mag-system. But if we don't have that, anong pwede kong gawin, sir? Note how 32 on the left is a power of 2. So I can rewrite 32 as a power of 2. I can write it as 2 raised to 5. That is equal to 2 raised to n minus 1. And look at this. Left side and right side have the same base of 2. So these two expressions, 2 to the 5th and 2 to the n minus 1, because sabi dito, equation yan eh. So those two are equal. And if they have the same base, then I can infer that the exponents must be equal also. So from this line right here, I can write 5 equals n minus 1. Diba? Kasi pareho ng base, para maging equal yan, dapat pareho din yung exponent. So 5 should be equal to n minus 1. Diba? So after one very simple application of APE, I'm able to determine n is equal to 6 rather. So negative 64 is the 6th term. Term number 6. A sub 6 si negative 64. Okay? Next item. Oops, sorry. Yan. The 5th and 7th terms of a GS are 3 and 9 respectively. What are all the possible values of the 6th term of the sequence? No? 5th and 7th, alam natin 3 and 9. Now, do we need to determine the first term? Not necessarily, kasi tinatanong lang naman sa atin anong posibleng value nung 6th term, no? Which is the term in the middle of the given 3 and 9. It's actually very simple. Pwede yung i-mental math to eh. But let's do it algebraically. I know that a sub 5 is 3, a sub 7 is 9. Diba? But I also know that to get from a to the 5th to a to the 7th, ang gagawin natin dito, let's say, let's write this out. A to the 7th, if I'm given a to the 5th, to get to a to the 7th, what do I do? Di ba, i-multiply ko siya once and twice by r. Kasi kapag si a sub 5 rather, multiply mo ng r, the common ratio, what you get is a sub 6. Then if you multiply it again by r, what you get is a sub 7. In other words, a sub 7 is equal to a to the fifth times r squared. Now, we do know that the fifth and seventh terms are 3 and 9 respectively, so we plug in those values. 9 ang seventh term, 3 ang fifth term. Ang hindi ko alam ay si r squared. Si r, hindi ko alam. So again, let's manipulate this very simple equation. I divide both sides by 3. I get 3 equals r squared. R, therefore, is plus or minus square root of 3. Diba kasi pwede naman na negative ang iyong common ratio. No problem. So, our common ratio can have two particular values, two specific values. Square root of 3 and negative square root of 3. And by that, there are two possible values also for the sixth term. Kasi I can either multiply the fifth term by square root of 3 to get the sixth term, and I can also try to multiply it by negative square root of 3 to get the sixth term. In other words, a sub 6, therefore, should be plus or minus 3 square root of 3. Diba? Tama. Napakadali. Okay? Pause ulit. Balikan kung kinakailangan. Kung may part na hindi naintindihan. Pag di talaga maintindihan, wala mapiga. Punta sa call. Nandito ako naghihintay lang. Okay? Last item. The world's longest sandwich was 735 meters. I'm not sure if this is factual. You can look it up. But I don't think that the module creator will just invent this. Maybe it's true. Suppose that to make sure everyone gets to taste it, each person that came was given half of whatever was left. Okay, so how long was the sandwich of the ninth in line? Okay, so ulit, let's start with identifying what we know. Si a sub 1, sino first term natin dito? Now, you can use as a sub 1, 735. But what a sub 1 would mean in the context of the problem is how long was the sandwich before anyone started, eating the sandwich. Basically, parang kinakain niya natin kalahati no? Pero it's kind of weird if someone, the first in line in particular, would eat half of that. But barring that possibility that someone could actually eat that, a sub 1 could represent, well, if you use 735 meters for a sub 1, that would mean it's the length of the sandwich before people start eating the sandwich. However, ako, mas gusto ko na ang a sub 1 ko na is the length of the sandwich that is dedicated to person 1. Kasi, magkakapitalize na ako doon sa value ng n dito, yung 1, as the tawag ito, yung order in the line, no, of the people. So a sub 1 in my particular case will mean the length of the sandwich for guy number 1 or person number 1. Okay? And with that explanation, that would mean that I would only need to take half of this for the first guy. 'Di ba? Half lang kung ano meron yung naka-allot for a particular person in line. So the first guy, ang pwede lang na meron sa kanya, ang available lang sa kanya ay kalahati ng 735. Okay? Ano ba kalahati na 735? Kung magkakalculate naman ako dito, 735 divided by 2. That's 367.5 in meters. So yan lang yung allotted para sa first guy. Now again, suppose that to make sure that everyone gets to taste it, each person that came was given half of whatever was left. So again, we capitalized on the usage of the n value, the subscript, to mean that this is the rank of the person that is tasting at the moment. So guy number 1, what's available to him is 367.5 meters of sandwich. So, ang hinahanap natin bale dito ay a sub 9. Tama? Kung ano yung allotted for the 9th person. Syempre, isang critical pa na kailangan natin to determine the 9th term. Bukod sa first term, kailangan ko rin si R. Ang tanong, ano si R? Again, based on the problem, intindihin, pause. Okay, dapat may sagot ka na. Ang R natin dito, since, sabi natin dito, to make sure everyone gets to taste it, each person that came was given only half of whatever was left. Which means my R is 1/2. Okay? So, to determine then a sub 9, I go um, a sub 1, sige, latag muna natin, times r raised to 9 minus 1. Okay? A sub 9 is what I am looking for. I don't know that. I know the first term to be 367.5. Yeah? I know my r to be 1 half, so that's 1 half raised to 9 minus 1 is 8. Okay? So that's 367.5 multiplied by, that's 1 over, what's 2 to the 8th power? 2 to the 8th, ano nga ba? 2 to the 5th, alam ko yan, 32. No? Tapos meron pa akong kulang tatlo, 2 cubed. Ayan. That's 8. So 32 times 8, that's 240, 256. So that's 1 over 256. So multiply na lang natin. 1 over 256 times 367.5. What would that be? Sorry, that's right. By 256, I should get approximately 1.44. Ano to? Meters. Yan. So for the ninth guy, di ba ang bilis? Ninth guy pa lang ito. Pero ang allotted na lang sa kanya ay 1.44 meters. That's still about a meter and a half worth of sandwich. I'm not sure if that's humanly possible, but the math suggests this. Now the ninth guy may eat 1.44 meters of sandwich. Approximately. Sa calculator ko, ano lumabas eh? 1.435546.875. Dapat yun din lumabas sa inyo. So we approximated. Remember, for our purposes, whenever we end up with a number na hindi whole number, no, our standard practice in class is to round off to the nearest hundredths. So it's 1.44 approx meters. Yeah? Okay? So what's left to do now is for you to answer your exit ticket. Again, your exit ticket, this will be due on Monday, 8 a.m. along with whatever entry ticket I will assign. See the last slide of the interactive PowerPoint now. Of the of the asynchronous task in preparation for geometric series. Ito medyo exciting to, yung next session, geometric series. Marami kayong makikita ng applications dyan. Okay? So note daw for number 25 sa exit ticket, population increases at the rate of 5% of the previous year, compounded annually. Okay? Sige, again I'll be in the call. I am in the call as you're watching this. I am in the call. If you have any questions about the material, may hindi kayo naiintindihan, punta sa call, magtanong. Okay? Thank you.